how did your profession...
They've upgraded themselves.
Assalamu alaikum ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Mentoring Young Leaders. This is your host Ayesha Ahmed, and we have a very special guest with us today. Not only has been his professional journey of warmth, of excellence, but also he has been a member of ICAP and ICAEW and a partner of Mazik Group globally. And he has also been a helpful guide in startups and make them grow potentially. So without any further ado, let us all give a warm welcome to our very special guest of today, Syed Abu Afzal. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
I hope you're doing well.
I think good.
Everything's great. So first of all, I would like to thank you for coming. So we're going to start from very basic question, that how did your professional journey start?
I think before profession, that's just my educational journey. Okay. So, I mean, so after my matriculation, I opted for medical, pre-medical.
Okay, from sciences.
From sciences. And then I was supposed to be a doctor. I completed my pre-medical. And then I applied at Aga Khan and a couple of other places. Just at Aga Khan, in fact.
Okay.
But then I couldn't get selected. Then my brother guided me and coached me that I can go for ACC or CA.
Second option.
As a second option. It wasn't a second option because I still had option to go to other medical colleges, but I just thought that, okay, just evaluate. So I came here at Tabani. Okay. It was one Friday morning at about like 4 p.m. I came here, sat with Tabani sahab, discussed with him, and he was very candid. At that point, he gave me around maybe 90 minutes from 4 p.m. to at least like Asr prayers. We together prayed Asr. And then I decided I will go for it, and I actually chose Tabani, TSA as a learning provider for me. So yeah, so that's how I started my educational journey. Yeah. And then when it comes to profession, after my, like 4 modules at Tabani, I went for PwC. Okay. I completed my training for PwC. Alhamdulillah. Then for a period of like 8-9 months, I worked with Standard Chartered Bank, okay, the group reporting department. But then I thought of moving again from that pre-medical to finance field to technology, okay. In 2009, technology was there, and then it was not that of a buzz there. Finance was a buzz in those days. True. But then I talked with my another brother who was in technology. He guided me, and then there's one person, 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃. He has a great influence on my career and my all whatever I'm doing. So they guided me, and then they gave me a complete option. They asked me to do some research around all top 50 profession, what can I do and not do, and also I decided that together with them that okay, I can join Mazik Global. It was like a family business. Okay, my brother was one of the owners. 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃 was the group chairman, and then I joined Mazik as a partner in the company as a vice president, looking into the product development part. Okay. And that's how I came into Mazik Global back in 2009. Okay, and then it started, and I spent in the product development area and the implementation area. I didn't join Mazik Global in the core finance department. For a tech company, finance is not that complex. Yeah. Okay, I mainly work on the product development and the global expansion and things like that. Yeah.
So sir, as you mentioned that you joined Mazik in 2009. And I mean, it has been more than a decade or two.
Yeah.
So what made you stay over there? Or just because of family reasons, or was it like you were so attached to the company or something like that?
I mean, the autonomy and the empowerment that we got at Mazik, we can just do anything. Okay, so it was not like, it's supposed I'm part of the organization, but over the period of like 16 years, we have done everything that a tech company can do. I know that, alhamdulillah, I have set up asset management companies, hedge funds in Cayman Island. We came back in 2011-12. We came up with algo trading tools, and then that can support a hedge fund and asset management company. That sort of thing that we did in 2011-12. Okay, but then we spent another 5-6 years in developing some products on Microsoft platform on the healthcare and education. Okay. We work as the digital transformation partner for Fortune 500 companies. We expanded in South Africa, in Dubai, Saudi, UK, US. We did some acquisition through some channels in India to expand our workforce bases. And then in Pakistan, we significantly expanded. So all of these things that we are doing. We focus mainly on the Microsoft tech stack, but then we started focusing on the AI part, setting up AI innovation hubs, and all these things that we have done. So it is like, yeah, I'm part of the organization, but whatever we have, the depth that we have covered and the breadth that we have covered is very significant.
True.
Yeah.
The significance is actually important. I second that.
Yeah.
Sir, as you mentioned that you have helped the company grow and expand into numerous countries. So what is the main thing? What is the most important thing that you do to keep it all together?
I do to keep it all together.
Yeah. I mean, like you are expanding the countries. So what is the first thing that is important for that?
I mean, whenever we decide that, okay, or we think that, okay, there's a market that we need to explore, okay, we just come up with a macro strategy. We look into the local impacts, okay. Few things that we look into specifically is the market fit. Whatever products that we are offering, for example, the digital transformation services or the Microsoft Business Solution, if it's fit for that particular country or whatever that is happening, it's usually a fit, okay. Then we identify the collaboration that is available, the potential partnerships that we can sign in a specific country. Some regulatory environment, okay, infrastructure, and the final thing that we look into is the availability of talent in that country. Okay, there is one thing that we do. I mean, Magic Global, from the services perspective, it's a global delivery organization with a good global delivery capability from Pakistan. Okay, so we use that. So we focus on wherever we expand, we keep a balance of 60-40. 40% resources will be from that country, okay, and the 60% will be offshore. Okay, so it's very important for us to identify what is the usual norm in those countries. So we expanded in other countries and we have found it very, very successful. Just to give you an example, Saudi is a buzz these days. Everyone is looking at the Saudi Vision 2030, and then within Saudi Vision, I mean, like there's literally business for every company in Saudi at the moment. But there are ways to go into Saudi. Okay, there are few things that are acceptable, not acceptable. There's complete research that people need to do, and we do the same research. And then we usually go into any market using the following research.
Yes, sir. I absolutely agree how you are saying that we have to adjust before knowing the country. So, sir, as you have helped small-scale companies and large-scale companies to grow, so what is the major difference that you have noticed?
Large-scale companies, I mean, if you compare it like from a corporate tech and a startup from that perspective, I mean, it's simple. It's like this. For example, in a corporate or enterprise, because they take care of the enterprise level customers usually.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so the working style is like a 3-course meal. They come, say, and all these stuff. They take time.
Everything is very particular.
Yeah, and then when we are signing deals with our customers usually ask us like level of experience, the years of experience, the age of our consultant, all these stuff. I mean, a startup is not supposed to work at that speed. It's like 80-90 kilometer per hour. A startup is supposed to work at 150-160. Okay, it's like आप ढाबे पे जाएं और खाना खाएं. Okay, और corporate में आप ऐसे आप आवारी में जाके dynasty पे खाना खाएं. So ढाबे पे जाके खाने का मतलब है आप go big, बेहतरीन खाना है, लेकिन you need to be super fast on everything, whether it's planning or execution. You need to be super
because
fast.
It's your initial stage.
Well, exactly. The people can't afford to just keep spending time on research. Yeah, from a startup perspective, they need to do the research very well in the start. But then when they are into execution and start building a product, they need to be laser powered. They can't just have the luxury of working 8 to 9 hours.
True.
They should be focusing on 15-16 hours, something like that. Yeah.
So when you're choosing or seeing a young entrepreneur, so what do you look in the person? Like you're seeing like a born talent within the person, or you're like, okay, this person is fine, we can mentor that?
I mean, passion is one thing, okay, that I would see, but more than the passion is the talent as well. Okay, so yeah, it's a combination of both the talent and the passion, and then the education level is also very important. There are people who are not that educated. I mean, but then they have. I mean, like they have upgraded themselves. Okay, so. Excuse me. So we usually look into these. At least I look into these. The passion and the talent is both mix of both.
Yeah, of course. So, sir, if you're like choosing a young leader, as you mentioned, you're seeing passion and talent. So, what such young entrepreneurs should build in themselves at the moment? ऐसी कौन सी skill होनी चाहिए उनके अंदर that is like really important these days?
I think it's storytelling. I mean, they need to be able to tell their story. Yeah. I mean, and more than that, depth. I mean, if they are coming up with any startup, okay, they can't just pick up any idea and just start working on it. They need to literally do a complete research of 360 research, understand what others competitors are doing, what can happen, cross-country research and all these stuff. They need to do those research, and then ultimately the storytelling. Yeah.
As you mentioned, storytelling is really important. These days we are not able to convey that because हम लोग इतना focused हो जाते हैं to make ourselves perfect in the genre. So I totally believe that what you said, sir. As you have trained in Microsoft as well as Oxford, so how important is it to keep on learning when you already have a good job?
I mean, I would term it as a strategic refresh.
Yeah.
Okay. I think back in 2017, blockchain. Everyone was talking about blockchain. I was in the tech. Magic was not doing anything in blockchain. Okay. So I thought of reading something. I read a few articles, but I can just follow some 5-6 weeks course. So I just opted for Oxford Business School for that. Okay. And it was a good course. I spent like 6 weeks. It gave a good understanding of what's happening and what is the future of fintech and blockchain. And I still believe there is a whole lot of things that we have studied in 2018 that is not yet implemented. True. So there's a long way to go, and there are a lot of opportunities in those areas that are still available. Yeah.
So, sir, as you're a member of ICAP and ICAEW, so you are seeing AI has made a huge impact these days. So, will that affect our degrees as a whole, or will it just be a sideline?
It will just be supporting us. It will make us more efficient. AI has been around from last many years, since 1950, and you see AI has been around from since 1950 around. But then what has happened recently is this, I mean, these LLMs, the ChatGPT, the OpenAI related stuff, okay? So this has made, and then there's NVIDIA GPU power that is now available. So there are a whole lot of, whatever use cases that we are seeing, it was in people's brain, okay? But then what has happened is like we have got the power of AI and then we are getting it implemented.
So, sir, we've heard that you've done volunteer work in Ceylani as well. So how do you manage your time with such a corporate hectic life? So how do you take time for this thing?
I mean, it's just a, say, barkat hoti hai.
Social.
So, I mean, before actually started spending some time with Ceylani, time नहीं था. जब हमने वहाँ जाके कुछ टाइम स्पेंड करने गया तो जिस दिन वो बरकत ही बरकत होती है माशाल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
This is so sweet, sir. So okay, sir, so before wrapping up we have a quick rapid fire round. So what basically you have to do in this round, that I'll ask you some questions and without thinking you have to answer the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, so I'll ask some random questions. So Zoom call or face-to-face meeting?
It depends, but face-to-face meetings.
Face-to-face meeting. Why not Zoom calls? I mean, it's not like you're seeing the person like in and out, or face-to-face.
Yeah, if someone is in Karachi, face-to-face meetings, don't Zoom calls.
One bad advice you've received?
Multiple times. Okay, a single classification is the bad advice. Someone will say that, I mean, don't work on this idea because
it doesn't have
just
that
discourage
scope.
People discourage that, okay, why working on this idea? Simple, like people just discourage.
True. Sir, a moment where you have felt very proud of how far you've come?
So very recently I have seen, I mean, when I joined Magic back in 2009, I was like an odd man out in my company. There was no chartered accountant. And when I look into my accountant and finance fraternity, there was no one working on technology. Literally for at least till 2012-13, I kept thinking about, have I made the right decision? Because there was
no one there.
There was no one. It's like, why would I do this? Then I started thinking, no, it's my own. Just consider it's my own business. But then I spent time with Microsoft. I did all these consulting courses with Microsoft and all these things. And then more recently, at least from 2022 and all, I have seen all the big fours jumping into the Microsoft business solutions.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. All these big fours have these Microsoft business solutions practice. I'm with Microsoft, working on Microsoft since last 16 years. I have not seen anyone working.
I mean, it's
on
actually a
last
great
16 year
achievement.
So one of the claim to fame for Magic is the Microsoft Business Solution suite is a product Microsoft Dynamics. Magic actually co-developed it with Microsoft. More than 200 people from Magic worked on that product.
That is actually a very, very great achievement, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, in your experience, what makes a cross-border merger and acquisition successful?
देखिए ये जो एक्विजिशंस होती हैं ओके बेसिकली इनके बैकएंड के तो फाइनेंशियल मॉडल्स होते हैं कोई भी एक्वायर कर रहा है तो उसको आई मीन फाइनेंशियल ग्रोथ चाहिए सारी चीज़ें चाहिए सही है ऑल इन ऑल इस तरह की जो क्रॉस बॉर्डर मर्जर एंड एक्विजिशंस हैं इसमें जो देयर आर कपल ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नंबर वन इज़ द कल्चरल फिट ऑफ बोथ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बिकॉज अगर दो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ में हैं एंड ईच ऑफ द कंट्री हैज़ अ डिफरेंट कल्चर. This is the country level culture, but then organization culture is very important. So the culture fit needs to be there, okay? Then it comes like the first 90 days, the 90 days integration plan is very important, okay? And the last thing is like leadership continuity, okay? That the leadership needs to continue to make sure that this merger and acquisition is successful.
Of course, sir. So, sir, one advice that you would like to give to CA students as well as students who are performing in finance, one good advice that they need to like pursue in their lives.
Yeah. So हमारी जो अकाउंटिंग स्टूडेंट्स हैं ना ओके देयर इज़ अ परसेप्शन कि ये नंबर क्रंचर होते हैं.
True.
ठीक है.
All about numbers.
It's all about नंबर क्रंचर. रियलिटी ये है कि ये नंबर क्रंचर होते हैं. सही है. But the fact is while they are actually crunching these number, it's just not the number. This is the data. They go deep down into the data, understand the data. Okay, that's what we do. हम ऑडिट फर्म्स में जाते हैं सारा. हमें पता होता है बैंक के जो हैं वो इंटरेस्ट इनकम जो है ऊपर गई क्यों गई. It's linked with the interest rate and all these stuff. This is what we do. So हम नंबर क्रंचर तो होते हैं, but there is a depth that we cover. Okay, I think जो हम काम कर रहे हैं फाइनेंस के बच्चे वो बिल्कुल यही करते रहें. Because this is today's world. Data and AI का ज़माना है. Okay, but just link whatever they are doing with AI. Okay, the other thing is like storytelling is very important. Okay, so उनको अपनी storytelling है उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा focus करना चाहिए. And then AI perspective से भी बच्चों को focus करना चाहिए. Okay, AI perspective से because जो use cases होते हैं उनको वो align करें उन use cases को जो भी I mean जो use cases mean business use cases that needs AI to be implemented. Okay. तो वो अगर उस चीज़ की अलाइनमेंट करेंगे कि फॉर एग्जांपल बच्चों को शायद क्रेडिट रिस्क के बारे में आगे जाके पढ़ें कभी भी तो उनको पता हो कि वो कौन से AI टूल्स यूज़ करेंगे जिनसे वो सारे मॉडल्स क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. टिपिकली टेक्नोलॉजी के जो लोग हैं वो तो टूल्स बिल्ड करते हैं बट यूज़ केस जो है एक्चुअली कम्स फ्रॉम द फाइनेंस पीपल या बिजनेस पीपल. या
So, sir, how do you manage teams across different cultures as you have been expanded your company in the numerous countries? So, कहीं ना कहीं आपको difficulty आती होगी कि हाँ, it's different culture, we have to explain things to them differently. So, how do you manage that?
I mean, I just mentioned, I mean, एक local country level culture होता है and then there is an organization culture. So, we focus more on the org level culture and then we create a, I mean, like एक एम्पैथिक रिलेशनशिप होता है जिसके अंदर हम सबको पता है कि कौन से कंट्री में कौन सी हॉलीडेज़ हैं रिलीजियस हॉलीडेज़ हैं फॉर एग्जांपल और क्या कल्चरल नॉर्म्स हैं एंड एवरीवन रिस्पेक्ट दोस. सो हम टिपिकली इसी तरह से मैनेज करते हैं. वी सेट आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कल्चर बेस्ड ऑन दैट. ओके, टाइम जोन्स के इश्यूज होते हैं बट देन एवरीवन इज अवेयर ऑफ कि डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ के अंदर कौन से टाइम जोन्स हैं एंड वी हैव टाइम्स अवेलेबल कब कौन सी टीम्स अवेलेबल एंड दैट्स हाउ वी मैनेज.
Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It was lovely meeting you for all the insights. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget for the next episode. Thank you.